Bermuda.
Well, yeah, I do love my Bermuda because there are certain things or qualities here that do not really exist in many other places.
I love my Bermuda because of the diversity. Culturally, it's one of the most diverse places you will find on the earth.
I love my Bermuda because we have the best beaches, botanical gardens. I love to wake up and hear the birds singing.
The idea of good manners is exercised in the island of Bermuda because of the ease of accessibility that it affords me to other Bermudians, regardless of their rank or their status.
I love my Bermuda because of the beautiful sunny days we have, our lovely pink sand beaches, and our Bermuda shorts, of course. That is uniquely Bermuda.
Not only are we pleasing to look at the eye, but we have a great heart.
Live from Bermuda Broadcasting, this is ZBM TV9 News.
Good evening, everyone. It's Monday, February 20th, 2017. I'm Diane Brewer, and thank you for joining us tonight. Well, it feels good to be back home, but not for everyone, as staff and students of T.N. Tatum Middle School return to the classroom after being away from their work location for more than 2 months. Gary Moreno brings us this report.
From the look of it, students were excited to return to full-time classes at the school. Looking all dickty in their crisp uniforms, they happily made their way through the entrance where they were greeted by Education Minister Wayne Scott, who once again gave the assurance that T.N. Tatum is fit for occupancy following several weeks of remedial work, which included mold abatement.
The school's actually in very good shape. I mean, it's not 100%. There's still one or two things that need to be done that we're working through. But I just, was walking around with one of the PTA members, the Commissioner of Education, the principal, and we went upstairs to the second floor art area, which was the worst area. And from my understanding, it was even items from, Warwick Sackett in there. So, I mean, the room was a mess. The comment that was made by the principal was like, wow, you could actually sleep in here now. So the school actually looks really good. I'm pleased. What we need to do now is ensure that it's kept up. We finish off the few things that need to be done, and we make sure that we keep it up to par, and we do that for all of our facilities.
But there was a small number of holdouts this morning. 3 teachers who refused to enter their rooms for fear of abnormal mold counts were told. They were advised that not returning to work would result in a loss of pay, but that appeared to have no impact on a change of heart as they remained outside even after the minister and his team had left the premises. Principal Ms. Francine McMahon, though, well pleased with the return to more familiar surroundings, vowing to ensure that any impact the time away may have on student learning will be at a minimum.
It's good to be home. It's good to go on vacation. Vacation time is over, and now it's time to come home, buckle down, and get on with the business of the day. And that's the message that our students and our teachers will get from administration. It's time now for us to settle down even more and move forward and be just as successful or even more successful, because this has really fostered something in me as a principal to be more determined and to push forward, press even harder to make sure that we do well.
And settling down will have to take place in quick time, given that exams are just around the corner.
Our kids have been a little unsettled and they have been disrupted, yes. But there are lots of positives to this. Going down to Clearwater has actually fostered some lifelong relationships. We already have a plan of action that has started to help students, especially our M3s, to cover parts of the curriculum that they have missed so that they are prepared for their exams come April 11th, 12th, and 13th.
Crews worked throughout the weekend, we're told, to have even problem areas highlighted and the health and safety report corrected before this morning's return. Minister Scott, meanwhile, explaining that once the remedial work is completed, maintenance of the school, given its aging plant, will be made a priority.
We've got infrastructure that hasn't been maintained for years. So it is in poor shape. And as a country, we can do better. As a government, we're committed to do better, of ensure that we have money in the budget to get things done. So it's not a matter of, well, we don't have the funds for this and we're spending money everywhere else. No, we have the funds to actually do this, and we're doing it.
Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Meanwhile, it is understood that all teaching staff subsequently returned to the classroom at T.N. Tatum today. So what exactly did the most recent report on the conditions at T.N. Tatum indicate? Well, we sought to find out from the Department of Education. Once again, here's Gary Moreno with the story.
Information provided to us by the Department of Education indicates that a visual assessment and testing of the whole school was carried out by a company called Island Air Quality Services between December 20th last year and January 3rd this year. A total of 79 samples were collected, with 16 raising concerns pertaining to poor indoor air quality. Recommendations for cleaning efforts were made and remedial work carried out in 6 locations detailed in the report, with retesting done on February 10th. It showed that air quality in 2 of those 6 areas was acceptable, but remained of concern in 4 others. Included in that number were the educational side room, where slightly elevated levels of airborne mold were detected, with a dominance of Aspergillus and Penicillium. The same was identified at another location, identified only as Room 251. Another room, Room 316, showed the level of airborne mold was satisfactory, although there was concern over the presence of chaetomium. Re-inspections were then carried out on February 16th, with results indicating that all areas cleared now showed significantly lowered and acceptable levels of mold, and posing no immediate or significant threat to the health, well-being, and safety of staff or students. That said, as we previously reported, a number of areas remain out of bounds to staff and students until whatever construction or final mop-up and routine cleaning are completed. These areas include the gym, the machine shop, the cafeteria, the education therapy side room, a storeroom, a 3rd-floor bathroom, as well as rooms 223, 234, and 251. It's unclear what these rooms are used for, though. The Department of Education, meanwhile, saying classes will not be disrupted as final works are completed, since this will be done during late evenings or weekends when staff and students are away from the building. Gary Moreno, reporting for the Bermuda Broadcasting News.
Breaking news 24/7. Connect to Bermuda Broadcasting News in a variety of ways: Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp. Send us your feedback, photos, videos, and news tips anytime. Now the news you want is available no matter where you are. Just a click, tap, or touch away.
Stay with us. More news and weather coming up after the break.
Calling all Bermudian University graduates. Have you considered a fast-paced and rewarding career in financial regulation?
As Bermuda's sole financial services regulator, the Bermuda Monetary Authority plays a key role in our success in the international business arena.
If you are driven, focused, and ready to challenge yourself, then apply to our graduate training program.
Visit bma.bm for details or check out our Facebook page.
We're accepting applications from January 3rd until March 31st.
The Bermuda Monetary Authority's graduate training program.
Challenge yourself.
And the Bermuda Police Service tonight appealing for the public's assistance in locating 15-year-old India Smith. Miss Smith is described as brown complexion, 5 feet 7 inches tall, weighing approximately 200 pounds with short brown hair. The teenager was apparently last seen in Devonshire wearing gray Adidas sweatpants and a black and gray shirt at around 11:30 a.m. on Friday, February the 17th. However, subsequent information suggests that she was at an Ord Road, Warwick residence Saturday morning, although it is unclear if she was wearing the same clothing at that time. There is concern for the well-being of Miss Smith, who usually travels on foot or by bus and is known to frequent the City of Hamilton bus terminal as well as the Mount Hill Pembroke area. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of 15-year-old India Smith should contact the main police telephone number at 295-0011 at the earliest opportunity. In other news tonight, Attorney General Trevor Monez tonight reminding the public that the Police and Criminal Evidence Amendment Act 2016 was passed by the legislature in March of 2016 and has restored the ability of the Director of Public Prosecutions to issue cautioning guidance to permit police officers to issue cautions to those criminal suspects who admit guilt. Former cautions serve as an alternative to traditional prosecutions before the courts and give law enforcement another tool in helping to prevent unnecessary criminalization in the first instance and to further deter persons from further actions that may lead into criminalization. Cautions permit the police and prosecutors to consider a response which is proportionate to the level of criminality involved. Quote, following the passage of legislation, the DPP commenced a consultative exercise with stakeholders across government and the community. The result of that exercise was the announcement on February 16, 2017, of draft formal police caution guidance for simple possession of cannabis, 3 grams or less. To that end, I am now bringing the legislation into force, and a notice to that effect will be published in the Gazette shortly. The DPP will then be in a position to formally bring the guidance into effect, end quote. And in other news, a visiting American speaker is set to host a public lecture this week that will focus on encouraging children of color. The Family Center is hosting the event, in which Dr. Kenneth Hardy will highlight the obstacles some black children face in school and on the playground. Tarai Trott takes a look.
For Dr. Kenneth Hardy, the mission to provide encouragement to children of color is deeply personal.
Although I'm standing here before you with a PhD, I have very, very vivid memories of meeting with middle school and high school career counselors who very directly dissuaded me from going to college because they said that I didn't think that it was a good fit for me, that I needed a profession that was where I could be good with my hands.
No, and I thought that they both had that capacity.
But despite these efforts to dissuade him from higher education, Dr. Hardy did go on to obtain it and now works at Drexel University in Philadelphia, where he is a professor of family therapy. His work with children and families has even earned him appearances on The Oprah Winfrey Show, ABC's 2020 program, and others.
Kids of color, unlike white kids, for example, that receive very early on in life lots of messages that shapes their psyches and their minds about who they are, what they can do, what they can't do. And I've just learned from my work that it's possible for that to happen and kids not know that it exists. And for those of us who are commissioned to help kids are not always as mindful of that as possible.
He believes it is necessary for adults to sometimes suspend their so-called adult view of the world and attempt to see it through the eyes of children.
That means being able to appreciate the things, the vulnerabilities that comes along with that. And then with regard to race, having a willingness to have frank, candid, direct conversations with young people about race, I think that's important.
Yes, he acknowledges race is a sensitive issue, but
I happen to think that it's much more damaging to not talk about it, and particularly when it exists. And so I just think having there be some conscious awareness of it.
And despite just arriving here, Dr. Hardy already sees similarities to the United States where it concerns race.
Like, my sense of it is that race is as difficult to talk about here as is in the States, and yet it is every bit as much of an organizing principle here as is in the States. So I think that's been a parallel. And I also think that just the ways in which, because we don't talk about it, there's so many things that are connected to race that we tend not to see, and I think that's, true of the States, that, we still struggle with it, and yet, I don't think we're often aware of how much we actually struggle with it.
You can see Dr. Hardy talk about these issues and more during his public lecture hosted by the Family Center this Wednesday, February 22nd from 6:30 to 8 at the Cathedral of the Holy Trinity in Hamilton. For further information, you can contact 232-1116. In other news, the Bermuda Tourism Authority says it is rolling out a plan this year to raise the profile of the railway trail in the visitor experience. The BTA says that the island is increasingly the choice of younger travelers looking for sport, adventure, and culture, and the rail trail can deliver that. Here is Glenn Jones, the BTA's Director of Stakeholder and Media Relations.
We think there's a great potential for the rail trail as a tourism asset that currently is being underutilized, especially as it relates to building out the destination as a year-round place for sport and adventure. The rail trail does provide that kind of opportunity on a lot of levels. And we think in some cases on levels we haven't even thought of yet. So part of our plan is to inspire entrepreneurs to look at the rail trail as a tourism asset and try to figure out how you can provide a service or product that enhances the experience for users. We think if we're able to do that, we can drive visitors to use the rail trail because, as you know, our visitors are younger, they're more experiential, and they want to get out and experience the island, including lacing up their sneakers to go for a walk, a run, or getting on a mountain bike.
And on a programming note, sports fans can relive last year's exciting World Rugby Classic 2016. Tune in to ZFB TV 7 tomorrow, Tuesday, February 21st at 8 p.m. to watch the 2016 World Rugby Classic, which took place at the National Sports Center, featuring the likes of the Classic All Blacks, the Classic Springboks, and the Classic Lions. That's Tuesday, February 21st at 8 p.m. on ZFB TV 7, presented by the World Rugby Classic. Turning to weather news, a mix of sun and cloud for our Tuesday. Here's the latest from AccuWeather headquarters.
AccuWeather is presented by BF&M Insurance Group. We now go to AccuWeather headquarters.
This forecast is brought to you by BF&M Insurance. And as we take a look at what's going on here, right near Bermuda, just to the north, we have a frontal boundary that is going to be crossing. There's been some showers and some rumbles of thunder with this, even some lightning strikes here just to the northwest of Bermuda. So as we go into the nighttime hours, especially during the evening, we'll see the showers moving through. There also could be possibility for a rumble of thunder as well. Our current conditions out there in Hamilton, it is 70 degrees. Somerset Dockyard is checking in at 69. We're at 69 in St. George's as well. The humidity is high right now. It is 80 to 85%. Wind is out of the southwest, and it'll be shifting to the northwest, 12 to 18 knots. The water temperature is 67 Fahrenheit. Waves inside the reef are 1 to 2 feet, and the waves outside the reef are 4 to 8 feet. Now for tonight, we'll have mostly cloudy conditions, increasingly windy with showers around mainly early, and there could be a thunderstorm as well, a low temperature of 57 degrees. For tomorrow, variable clouds with a brief shower or two, but it will be windy, cooler, a temperature of 64 degrees. Those winds gusting at times past 40 miles per hour. The overnight low of 58 degrees. By tomorrow afternoon, we are going to see a little bit more in the way of sun, but we will have those windy conditions. Also, we are going to have a small craft warning in effect for tomorrow because of those winds picking up. High tide number 1 is at 4:12 a.m. on Tuesday. The low is at 11:01 a.m. And then our next high tide is at 4:31 p.m. Tuesday, and the low is at 10:41 p.m. on Tuesday. Your gateway forecast here in Toronto, a temperature of 47 degrees. We do have some rain. In New York, 46 degrees with a partly sunny sky. Boston is at 40 degrees with partly sunny skies. Jamaica's at 84. Barbados at 83 degrees, some showers around those areas. And your extended outlook, we do have some showers around still. It's going to become more spotty, but there'll be a shower or two around the area, a little more in the way of clouds, and we do have those windy conditions for your Tuesday. Wednesday and Thursday, especially Thursday, looking very nice, will be a cooler day, but we are going to see some pretty good conditions there. On Friday, we start out maybe with some sun, but clouds will increase. By Friday night, the next system heads our way that is going to bring some rain. By later on Friday or Friday night into Saturday, we'll be dealing with the rain as well. Keeping up to date with everything the weather has to offer, just tune in to Ocean 89, Power 95, or Inspire 105.
AccuWeather was presented by BF&M Insurance Group.
Introducing Create, your style, your way. We at Big Savings Zone understand that you are unique and your style is personal. We know that your home is a reflection of who you are, and that's why you should create it your way. First, choose your style. Second, choose your color. Third, choose your accent pillows. With these 3 simple steps, you can now design your perfect living room. You are one of a kind, and so is your home. So create your style, your way. Exclusively available at Big Savings Zone, Southside, St. David's.
Well, police kept busy over the weekend responding to a number of road traffic accidents. In the first incident at 9:50 Friday night, a 56-year-old workman had to be extracted from his truck after it was involved in a crash and turned onto its side. The man was not injured. It happened on Harbor Road in Paget near the junction with Valley Road. The man is said to have struck the curb, and he was trapped inside of the truck for a period of time before being rescued. Traffic was diverted from the area for a period of time before Harbor Road was reopened. In another incident, a St. George's man was arrested on suspicion of impaired driving early Saturday morning after the car he was driving struck a tree, causing him minor facial injuries. It took place around 1:30 a.m. on Mullet Bay Road in St. George's near Rocky Hill Park. The 46-year-old man had been driving along Mullet Bay Road before the incident happened. Police calling for witnesses to telephone 295-0011. In another matter, officers arrested a 32-year-old woman after the auxiliary cycle she was riding slammed into a wall in Devonshire, causing her minor facial injuries. It happened at around 3:45 Sunday morning on South Road near the junction with Brighton Hill Road. Turning to sports, Bermuda athletes star in international competitions abroad while another youngster meets the Carifta qualifying standard. Earl Baisden has tonight's sports report.
Bermuda's Under-20 CONCACAF Championship opener against Trinidad and Tobago in Costa Rica saw the two teams played to a 1-1 draw yesterday. Trinidad had taken the lead in the 23rd minute, but Bermuda would draw level in the 69th minute.
Continuing the possession for Bermuda, another ball that comes through. Here's Smith, the chance that comes through. Smith still bouncing around. Who's going to get to it in the equalizer right there, courtesy of Nicol with Bermuda's Jasrate Smith. 1-1 at 70.
Bermuda will next take on group leaders El Salvador on Wednesday. El Salvador defeated the host Costa Rica 1-0 in their opening match. Nicky Wells and his championship team, Huddersfield, frustrated Premiership team Manchester City to take their FA Cup fifth round tie to a replay with a goalless draw at John Smith Stadium. Rai Simons and his Chesterfield teammates' relegation fears deepened when they were defeated 2-1 at home by fellow strugglers Burley. Reggie Lamb struck the winner in a 2-1 victory for Carlisle United at Wycombe, and Zico Lewis and his New York Red Bulls teammates fell 3-0 to Sporting KC MLS preseason action. A total of 42 goals were scored in 10 Premier and First Division matches over the weekend, with the Premier Division getting a new leader, the First Division leaders coming from behind to pull out a win. In the Premier Division, the PHC Zebras went back to the top of the table following their 2-1 win over the Boulevard Blazers at the PHC Stadium. Robin Hood moved into second place on goal difference over the North Village Rams following their 6-0 win over the Devonshire Colts, while North Village were losing 2-0 to the Somerset Trojans. In the other match on Sunday, the Somerset Eagles scored late in their match to draw 1-1 with the Dandytown Hornets, and on Saturday night at the BAA Field, Devonshire Cougars defeated the Flanagan's Onions 2-1. In the First Division, Young Man Social Club, the league leaders, scored twice in the final 12 minutes to record a come-from-behind 2-1 victory over Paget Lions. For second place, Crossroads pulled off a 5-2 win over BAA. St. David's, despite their 1-1 draw with Southampton Rangers, remained in third place, while St. George's Colts defeated Hamilton Parish 8-0. Island Rangers picked up their first win of the season, defeating Wolves 4-2 at Malabar. Bermuda Olympian Tyrone Smith competed in the Mueller Indoor Grand Prix in Birmingham, England over the weekend. Smith broke the Bermuda Indoor National Long Jump record with a leap of 7.83 meters to finish in second. Meanwhile, Bermuda Olympic hopeful Janai Parentchief had a mixed day competing in the 2017 NJCAA Regional Indoor Championships. Parentchief, coming back from a 2-week layoff due to injury, recorded a top leap of 7.29 meters to finish second in the men's long jump. He did not record a leap in the men's high jump and came in when the bar was at 2:03. On the local front, the Flyers Track Club hosted the latest Bermuda National Athletic Association's Carifta Trials at the National Sports Center over 2 days. The under-18 high jump girls had everyone's attention on Saturday as 13-year-old Amelia Othman met the Carifta standard with a leap of 1.60 meters, with the standard being 1.55 meters. Othman, however, is too young to attend the Caribbean Junior Track and Field Championships as they begin at the age of 14. Sakari Famous won the event with a leap also at 1.60 meters. John Dow Cumberbatch is not too young as he put on a display during the under-18 boys 3,000 meter race when he was clocked at 9:42.78, with the qualifying standard for the event being 9:45 even. The 2016-17 harness pony racing season came to an end with the Champions of Champions final day racing at the National Equestrian Center on Vesey Street. In the first Champion of Champion race, Pocket de Gold and Christian Truin clocked a winning time of 1:04.3. Tyler Lopes in the bike of Cherokee's Ironman was second in the time of 1:04.4. It's All About Me and Casey Truin was third with a time of 1:05.1. Andrea Westerfield in the bike of Custard the Dragon was fourth in a time of 1:05.4.
The 2017 Landro Miners Memorial Golf Tournament was held at the Ocean View Golf Course on Saturday with several teams from across the island taking to the course. The team of Brian Morris Sr., Brian Morris Jr., Mark Ray, and Alan Wilkins carded a 14 under par to claim the title. Despite vandalism, the Bermuda Netball Association's league season resumed at Bernard Park on Saturday. In the under-12 division, the Storm defeated the Phoenix Sparks 14-4. The Phoenix Flames defeated the Warriors 19-2. In the under-16 division, the North Village Lady Rams got by the Storm Thunder 24-10. The Storm Lightning got by the Phoenix Juniors 22-9. There was only one senior league match played on Saturday, and that was the North Village Rams defeating Blazing 35-21. 3 games were played in the Island Basketball League action over the weekend inside the Cedar Bridge Academy Gymnasium that produced a total of 338 points. The lone game on Saturday saw the Court Kings defeat the Crossfire 72-68. A doubleheader on Sunday night saw the Rimrockers defeat the Court Kings 51-43, and the Thundercats defeated the Twisters 56-48. The Bermuda Karting Club racing season continued at the Rubis Motorsportsway on Sunday. Shannon Casey drove to victory in 2 of the 3 races in the shifter modified class, while Jason North won the other. Scott Barnes won all 3 races in the shifter stock class. 3 different drivers took the checkered flag in the L206 class. Robert DaCosta, Joey Newton, and Stephen Bridges all won a race. Corey Lewis won all 3 races in the L206 senior class. Ryan Bridges won all 3 races in the tag junior class. Scott Barnes won 2 of the 3 races in the senior tag class on the day, with David Sally winning the other. Jamie Newton powered his car to victory 3 times in the cadet junior class. Turning to women's field hockey, the Bluebirds' experienced players gave the youthful Sandpipers team a lesson, handing them a 6-0 defeat. Victoria Irison scored 2 field goals, while Lauren Cardwell and Courtney Fassler both added field goals. Yasla Simmons and Laura Hope both scored penalty corner goals. The Canaries and Swallows played to a 1-1 draw in the other match. The 22nd running of the Telford Electric Mile is fast approaching. The event is scheduled to take place on February 25th at the National Sports Center, with the deadline to register being tomorrow, Tuesday, February 21st. Race director Cal Simons explains the reason behind the race.
Well, it's a fun event, man. It's a family-oriented event. We have a lot of people that used to run it. They come in and serve as officials, so we kind of don't throw them out to pasture, but it's a fun event. And for us, it's a major fundraiser for us. We're trying to raise funds for the kids to go abroad again. This year the club is planning to go to Canada as well as the East Coast in North Carolina. So this is a major fundraiser for us, and we want to make it a big event. It's a fun event, and we're just asking people to register early because there is no registration on the day.
I'm Earl Baston with Bermuda Broadcasting Sports.
Crazy, but that's just alright. Alright, my feelings I don't hide them from me. Not, alright. Come and get it if you're ready, darling. Come and get it if you're ready, ready. Come and get it if you're ready, darling. Come and get it if you're ready, ready.
In health news, possible progress against the Zika virus and the children at high risk for overdosing. Turai Trot has some of the day's top health stories from CBS News.
A new study suggests young children with mothers on prescription opioids face much higher risk of overdose than other children. Canadian researchers tracked records since 2002 in Ontario and found half the children treated for overdose were under 2 and that codeine, oxycodone, and methadone were usually involved. The rate of infants born with opioid addiction has also increased 5-fold over the last decade. The American Academy of Pediatrics recommends a public health response rather than a punitive approach against the mother. Researchers warn prosecuting pregnant women may discourage parental care. And researchers in St. Louis say developers have successfully designed a vaccine that protects lab mice against the Zika virus. The next step, test on people. I'm Tarai Trott with a look at some of the day's top health stories from CBS News.
And that's our newscast for tonight. I'm Diane Brewer. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Good night.